What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a different type of series I really wanted to talk about on the channel for quite some time. You guys know I really love platforming games, and beyond just Donkey Kong, of course, I like Mario, Kirby, Rayman, Crash Bandicoot, and also Klonoa, and I also just got into Starfy. There's like a lot of different platforming games I've really loved over the years, honestly. Did I say Mega Man? I can't believe I don't think I brought Mega Man there. But yeah, I really love a lot of platforming series, honestly. But there's one type of platforming series that has me intrigued in a different sort of way. And it's not really a platform. I mean, it plays like platformer, but it's different. Shantae. I've always heard talk about her every now and then, especially artists, and I've always wanted to try out her games. And for the past, 3 years or something, I've been getting through this series and stuff, and and after beating all 5 of the games, yeah, I see the vision, honestly, with these games. These are some of the most unappreciated platforming games, in my opinion. Well, some of them. We're going to be making a video of all 5 of the Shantae games and how good I think they are. Well, okay, there is a 6th one out there, Shantae Advance, but I didn't have a way to play that back then. But thankfully, that's coming out in multiple consoles, looks like in 2025. So there's that at least. So there you go. Anyway, we are going to talk about all the games and what I think of each of them. So here we go. Alright, let's start off with the first game Shantae appeared in, which was on the Game Boy Color. Very late release on the Game Boy Color. This is when Shantae first debuted. I should probably explain, who is Shantae, you may ask. Shantae is a half-genie that protects any chaos going on in the place called Shuttletown, and also uses different transformations, magic spells, and does belly dancing. Yeah, that's Shantae for y'all. And also she has purple hair, and yeah, she's overall a really cool character, honestly. And yeah. Alright, so let's talk about the first one that appeared. So, for most Game Boy games, they tend to not really age the best. Some of them, per se. I do play a lot of decent Game Boy games, like Donkey Kong, Game Boy, and the Wario Land games, Kirby, and of course Mario Land 2, per se. But Shantae is one of those that generally looks really good for a Game Boy game, but as it plays out, yeah, you can tell it's kind of aged, honestly, but I'd say for a first attempt of this, I'd say it's a solid game on its own that I don't mind that some people could probably get into for the difficulty, but I have to use a lot of save states due to how it controls its stuff. It generally felt like I was missing my jumps more often than I should, honestly, and overall, though, the game itself is, again, it's perfectly fine. I just think it's the weakest one in the series, but it's a Game Boy game. It's gonna have issues like that, and overall, and also story, like I said, any chaos going on in Shuttletown, you gotta take care of that. So yeah, overall, the game itself is perfectly fine. I just think, the other games that we're gonna talk about overshadow it, basically, for me, but overall, it's perfectly fine. Alright, the next game we're going to be talking about here is released on the DSiWare. Yeah, remember when that was a thing? I sure do remember. We're talking about Shantae Risky's Revenge. The title speaks for itself. Risky Boots, that's one of the characters in the game, in the series, steals a lamp. And it's up to Shantae to get it back so she can be a guardian again. Overall, though, from what I've seen online, this game takes a different art direction, basically, and it pretty much shows that the gameplay-wise, I can at least play this over the Game Boy one, honestly, and, for sure, because, overall, yeah, it just plays much nicer, and also, I just really love the sprite she had at the time. It's just really, really good, honestly, and, yeah, it's pretty nice. So overall, though, how's the game itself? From what I've seen online, basically, this is often regarded as a weaker entry in the series. I think it's more so for the fact of, it's just more so for the fact of, just, I think it's just other games do better, but considering this was the first game, a Shantae game in, since the Game Boy days, then I say it works, honestly. I really like the combat. There are different, Excuse me. The music is fantastic. I really love the soundtrack, honestly, and it's easily one of one of the highlights for sure. And introduce some unique gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. And overall, the game itself is fine. Now, the only thing holding it back, obviously, is some tricky puzzles, which that's bound to happen, really. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, tricky puzzles, and also a bit of, everybody's favorite word, backtracking. Yeah, that's the term that's used so often in many different games, honestly. And also, this is the game that introduced some magic spells and stuff like that, basically, and magic abilities. And this is when she started belly dancing. Yeah, I love when she does that. Overall, though, the game itself is perfectly fine. It's also some unique enemies, and the bosses itself can be a little brutal. This game can be very difficult, per se, so I can totally understand why this is considered one of the weaker entries. Hell, I even see some people say it's like the weakest one in the series. Personally, I prefer playing this over the Game Boy. The backtracking does hold it back for me, honestly, why it's a weaker entry, but on its own, it's still perfectly fine. The concept also going to the background, or foreground in some cases, is honestly kind of a unique gimmick, though, that not really implemented well in many platforming games. I mean, Donkey Kong Country does this sometimes, but yeah, there's one example. Overall, Shantae's Risky Revenge is a decent, fun game, but it definitely holds it back from issues. Alright, next up we're talking about is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. This has released on different platforms such as the Wii U, Switch, as well as... I should mention that these games are Metroidvania style games. I never even talked about that, basically, so yeah. That's one of the key details of in the previous games too. Anyway, Pirate's Curse. This is regarded from online sources as the best Shantae game in the series, and to be honest, I don't really blame them, to be honest. This is honestly my favorite in the series as well, actually. So what's the plot? Well, Risky Boost is causing chaos yet again, and Shantae has to, deal with that. Overall, the style is basically the same as Risky's Revenge. However, Risky's Revenge walked, so Pirate's Curse can run. This game is pretty much Risky's Revenge, but pretty much better, honestly. It improves a lot from Risky's Revenge, and honestly makes it... The art style is so... I just really love the art style, honestly. I love the sprites and stuff. Some unique locations. Not as much annoying stuff going... Well, there are still annoying stuff going on. It's not as bad compared to Risky's Revenge. And, gone are the magic abilities, but now Shantae can use a gun. Yeah, 10 out of 10 game right there. Overall, though, Pirate's Curse is definitely my favorite in the series. It also tells the best story and stuff, unlike the other games, and the gameplay itself holds up really well, honestly, and why I think it's easily the best in the series, no doubt. Honestly, when I play this one, and I can see why people think it's the best one, and I can see, and generally speaking, it's that good. And I say if I had to recommend one Shantae game, it had to be this one. This game is really good. I guess the only flaw of this game is, I don't know, I don't really got much issues with it, minus annoying stuff I could really say with, any of the other Shantae games. Regardless, though, and the soundtrack goes hard, so... Yeah, overall, I also love the art style. Recently I didn't talk about Risky's Revenge art style. I mean, it was fine at the time, but it's kind of a little aged, I guess you could say. But I say for this one, yeah, I really love the art style here for Shantae. And I mean, for the cutscenes and dialogue and stuff, which are very funny. I just love Jinx the character is really nice, honestly. So, yeah. Alright, next game we have here is the 4th game in the series, released on multiple consoles, Shantae Half Genie Hero. This game plays differently compared to the other Shantae games, and out of all the art styles, of course, this is the most popular of the bunch. And there's some conflicting opinions on Shantae Half Genie Hero, which tends to be a game that a lot of people do like, but some longtime fans may not be the most key on, going for a basic 2D side-scroller rather than, there's still exploration like other games, but it's definitely different and not really like a Metroidvania. It's just more of a 2D side-scroller, which, to be honest, I don't really find it a bad thing, honestly. I don't mind. I like a lot of 2D platforms, and also a lot of abilities Shantae has gained, like a fireball, a spike ball, the transformations are back. Overall, this game still has the charm in my opinion. I still think it's a pretty worthy title in the series. I say it's probably my second favorite in the series, honestly. Some may rank it lower if you're not really a fan of the side-scrolling type gameplay, which is fair. It's definitely changed for the better or worse when I see it. I guess I talk about the story, of course, that Shantae has to deal with stuff in Shuttletown yet again. So yeah, that's kind of what you expect, really. But overall, I still think Shantae Half Genie Hero is a very good game, and a lot of soundtrack goes hard, honestly, and I just really love the character designs as well. And overall, yeah, I say the art style, this is where I say it peaked in my opinion. I say this is a pretty fitting look for Shantae in my opinion. While I do like the sprites, obviously, I think this is just, for a modern attempt, I say it works, honestly, and why I think Shantae Half Genie Hero is in my opinion, a worthy title in the series. There are some backtracking stuff you gotta do as usual, which tends to be a common criticism with many games nowadays, but it depends how you handle it. There is, going different areas. There is a map trying to figure out where you need to go and stuff. The bosses can really get you sometimes, but yeah, that's the fun of the game is, taking on the challenge. And there's also some, if you go to the, different versions, especially on the Switch, which I played this on, there's some extra stuff to do, like different modes and stuff, and along with other DLC you can get with the game. So definitely get that version if you really want the extra stuff to do. So yeah, overall, Shantae Half Genie Hero, yeah, really great game, honestly. And now we have the final game to talk about here is Shantae and the Seven Sirens. This was a game released, the most recent new Shantae game right here, and I've always wanted to try it out. There's used to be a lot of hype with this one. I honestly never see anyone talk about it much, and what could possibly go wrong? So, of course, by judging the title, the Seven Sirens, haha, gone missing, and Shantae has to go look for them after, taking a nice vacation. I guess we gotta ruin the vacation. Oh, where have I seen that before? So, overall, the gameplay and the art style is very similar to Half Genie Hero, and I don't know what to really say on this game, honestly, to be honest. Imagine transformations, we still have those here, and obviously, it still has that gameplay that we all know and like, but there's just something that lacks compared to other games. And I mean that because I do think this game is better than Risky's Revenge and the Game Boy game, so it's a very middle-of-the-road Shantae game. And I don't mean that bad, because it's still a good game on its own. Because the art style, I really love the art style. The intro cutscene, by the way, we need to talk about that, how magnificent it is. Remember, it's honestly one of the best openings, honestly. And even if it's just like 30 seconds long, it still holds up well, and I just love the art style of the game. The only unfortunate thing, it just kind of lacks anything brand new added to the table, because, like, I don't know, it just doesn't really add much. There are monster cards you collect throughout the game, but that's all they kind of really add, honestly. We go back to the Metroidvania kind of style, which is good, but I don't know, I think I still prefer Half Genie Hero with a little more going on, honestly. Seven Sirens isn't a bad game by any means. I still think it's a good Shantae game to get into, honestly. But I'd say it's a little on the easy side compared to other games in the series. And I haven't played this on a decent difficulty, at least a fair difficulty. I am not playing the hardest difficulty to, rage or something. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something that just puts it down compared to other Shantae games. Just something off about it. Once again, it's not a bad game. I just think it's just something off compared to the others, really, which is why it kind of, I don't know, went from, I think it's still a good game on its own, but I don't know, it's just something holding it back, honestly. And that's the entire retrospective of the Shantae games. Overall, these games are great, and honestly so unique, honestly, that I like see the reason why I love Shantae, and why she's become generally one of my favorite video game characters, honestly. And I will admit that even if I talk some negativity with some of Risky Revenge and Seven Sirens, they are no means bad games, and I still think they could be still enjoyable on their own, and I guess there's some people out there who do enjoy the Game Boy games. So really, each Shantae game has a unique vibe to it in different ways, and you can really check them all out. Definitely check out Pirate's Curse and Half Genie Hero, and think about the other three. I definitely would at least try out all the games, at least. I do want to play Shantae on the Game Boy Advance that recently came out. I forgot the name of it, but when that releases worldwide, I do want to at least check that out. So, yeah. So yeah, that's my retrospect of all the Shantae games. Definitely check out this series. It may not be my favorite 2D platforming series ever. I think I still prefer Donkey Kong, Mega Man, Crash Bandicoot, Rayman, amongst others. I mean, Crash, I don't know if you call it 2D, but you get what I'm saying. But Shantae just had something unique and something special to offer. And I just really like that, honestly. So yeah, thanks for watching. What do you guys think of the Shantae games? Let me know in the comments below. Later, folks.